Welcome back to Weekend Today. Thanks for your company. Health experts are this morning calling for a ban on tackling in junior sport to reduce the risk of children developing brain disease in later years. It comes after doctors examined the donated brain of late rugby league player and coach Paul Green and rugby star Daniel King. Let's bring in today's talkers now. Nationals leader David Littleproud and Triple M's Gus Worland. Good morning to you both. Gus, we'll start with you because you're a sports guy. Experts are saying we need to reduce children's exposure to head knocks because repetitive head knocks can cause chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yeah, well said.
CTE is how we all know it.
Yeah.
Do you think a blanket ban is the way to go?
I don't think so. I think there's risk in everything in this world, and I do understand why people may want to go to soccer rather than rugby league or rugby union or even AFL. But at the end of the day, you know, there's risk in everything, and you've just got to be able to allow these young kids to be running around. They've got to learn how to win. They've got to learn how to lose. They've got to learn how to play in a team. And I think at the end of the day, I know these stories and these pictures we're seeing now are horrible. That's my team, two of those players there that had to had their careers shortened because of head knocks. But at the end of the day, we can't protect them all the time from everything.
No, but we could stop them from tackling at a very young age.
But then you learn the technique at a young age to actually be a better tackler, so you're less likely then to get injured. So there's that other side to it as well.
OK, David, what about you? What impact do you think this would have on junior sport?
Yeah, I'm with Gus on this. Life's not risk-free, and I think it's important that it is about choice. And I don't think parents are necessarily saying they have to play a particular sport. I've got two young ones that play soccer and an older guy that plays rugby league. They make that choice, and I think the codes see this as a real issue, and they're working through this. And I think we've got to understand, Gus makes a really good point, particularly with rugby league and contact sports. The technique of tackling is very important. They understand how to do that and do it properly, because otherwise there's some really perverse outcomes that can happen if they don't get that technique right. So I think you've got to appreciate life is about taking some of these risks. I think this is a calculated risk, and I think it should be about choice. But I think the codes have done an exceptional job, and I think even soccer. I mean, there's no risk-free in soccer either. Heading the ball, particularly when you look at some of those professional players, those balls are moving at great speed, and you're heading that can't be good either. So I think we've got to put this in perspective. We can't put ourselves in cotton wool, and I think it's just important we work with the science. I think this is great science, and I think work with how we mitigate this as best we can. But life's about living, and sport's such an important part for kids. My young fella missed out on a rep team this week. I can tell you he was devastated, but it was a great lesson in life. You don't always win, and you don't always get picked.
Yeah, not everyone gets the trophy. Let's move on now. New data is showing that Gen Z, or Zoomers, no longer believe that university is a prerequisite for success. The study is finding that 1/5 of people born in the late 90s and early 2000s are now planning to start their own business this year. Gus, this suggests that Gen Z is an entrepreneurial generation. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. I've got 3 of those at home.
Okay.
One of them's going to university, one's over in London just having a crack, and one's thinking about it at the moment after having a pretty ordinary COVID, year 11 and 12. But no, absolutely, it's not for everyone. My group of friends, I suppose, growing up when I left school in the mid-80s, that was seen as the way to go. But I didn't go. Quite a few of my mates did, and now they would probably now say to their own kids, it's up to you. A trade is just as important, but also just getting in there and having a crack, finding something that you love, be passionate about it. They're going to switch jobs perhaps more than our generation will. So why not just get out there and get amongst it, earn some money and see how life treats you. You don't have to go down that traditional path.
Yeah, we don't seem to have to follow the pattern anymore, David. What would your advice be to the younger generation?
Yeah, life finds you. I mean, I'm just a bloke from Western Queensland with a Year 12 education myself. I faked it till I made it, and some wouldn't say I'm the greatest example, but, you know, I've got a young fella and he's just gone into apprenticeship. He was in a school-based apprenticeship. He wants to be a diesel mechanic in the ag game and just loves it. And, you know, the thing about today's day and age is there is choice. And, you know, I think this is an exciting thing. Good on him for having a crack. And uni's not for everybody. It wasn't for me. I'm not academically gifted, and nor was Tommy. And he's decided he's better with his hands. He loves fixing farm machinery. He works in a dealership in Warwick and just thinks it's Christmas. He gets up every day doing something he loves. And this is the thing, is you've got to get up in the morning, do something you love and be passionate about it. Otherwise, it's a long time in the workforce being down and upset with the world. So, look, I think this is great. Good on him. Have a red hot crack. crack. As Gus said, life's about having a crack, but life always finds you, and you always rise to the level of your own incompetence, and I probably found mine.
And how boring would it be if we were all the same anyway? We all did the same things.
That's it.
Always good to have differences of opinion. Thank you both for your time this morning. Over to you, Clint.
Jane, thank you so much.